Hi, I'm Mary Koenig, the administrator at Heritage Apartments. I'm here to talk to you today about something we all experience every day, whether we are at work or out in the community. It's called customer service. And we hear stories relating to customer service all the time. Occasionally, you may hear a story about really outstanding customer service, which is wonderful. It seems, though, that more often than not, the stories people share involve examples of poor customer service. You may have heard the adage, if a customer is happy, they will tell one person. If they are upset, they will tell 12 people. That may or may not be exactly true, but the takeaway is probably accurate. People are quicker to share the negative stories than the positive ones. So how do we define customer service? Here is a generic definition that can be applied to any business. Customer service is the provision of service to customers before, during, and after a purchase or experience. If you'll notice, this definition refers to the time prior to a purchase being made, the actual purchase itself, and the time following the purchase. It's critical to note that the customer will particularly remember the initial contact and the final contact. For us at Loretto, this may seem unfair in a way because there might be a whole lot of good stuff going on in between those contacts. But studies will show that more often than not, people will judge an experience based on how it began and how it ended. I think it's also important to note that customers are often pretty forgiving. I recently had an experience in a major home improvement store where my initial contact with an employee was not good at all. The employee seemed put out and sort of annoyed despite the fact that I greeted her with a smile and a friendly face. In fact, I almost walked away unhappy. As we continued to talk, she became much more helpful and ultimately very friendly and knowledgeable. By the time I left, I was very happy with my experience and I made the purchase. So despite a rocky start, the employee managed to turn around my perception of the situation. Why is customer service important to Loretto? Number one, Loretto is mission-driven. Ultimately, we are charged with taking care of people. Any service-driven organization depends highly on customer service, especially when dealing with a vulnerable population. Number two, Loretto has a reputation in the community to uphold. We've worked hard over decades to establish a reputation for excellence. With customers becoming increasingly savvy in the marketplace, Loretto can set itself apart by providing excellent customer service. And number three, Loretto is a business. It depends on referrals from customers, families, employees, vendors, etc., so we can continue pursuing our mission. Why is customer service important to our customers? This may seem like an obvious question. Everyone appreciates good customer service, but it's particularly important to our customers because we are intercepting them at a critical time in their lives. As we know, our customers are not only our elders, but their families as well. Often when customers are reaching out to us, it's because there has been an event that led the customer and their family to seek help. Sometimes it is the death of a spouse, leaving a partner who cannot care for him or herself, maybe a diagnosis of dementia, or a fall leading to a hospital stay. Families can feel overwhelmed by the process and the decisions that need to be made. More often now, families might be spread out around the country, or they might disagree about a course of action. Financial implications can complicate things as well. We need to understand that families come to us carrying all of this baggage. We need to provide them with support and compassion to help them to not only understand the process, but to convince them that we are honored to take care of their loved ones, that they have indeed made the right decision when they chose Loretto. One way we can do this is by providing excellent customer service right from the beginning. Before we get into how to provide good customer service, let's talk about who Loretto's customers are. Loretto has external and internal customers. External customers are people not employed by Loretto who do business with us and who have some choice about where to take their business. Examples of external customers are residents, families, visitors, vendors, regulatory organizations, physicians, hospitals, other community service agencies, and organizations that we work with. Internal customers are employees or departments within Loretto who contribute to Loretto's mission and who depend on your services, products, or outputs to serve external customers. Internal customers include supervisors, colleagues, people you supervise, other departments, anyone else who works for Loretto and is engaged in the Loretto mission. Sometimes employees can provide really outstanding customer service to external customers, for example, residents and families. But when it comes to internal customers, they can be inconsistent or snippy or just plain rude. It's so important for supervisors to model excellent customer service with both internal and external customers so their employees understand that Loretto values all of our customers. In regard to your particular position, customers are defined as those people whose satisfaction with your specific services affects your ability to achieve the mission and objectives of Loretto. That might be purchasing, that might be recruiting, that might be maintenance. The goal of a supervisor should be to empower employees to make responsible, value-added judgments for our customers, thus creating a culture of customer service in the organization. How do we do that? First, do not assume that your employees understand how to provide excellent customer service. It does not come naturally to everyone. Second, make sure you explain to your employees exactly what is expected in your department or building. Next, model excellent customer service behavior. If you act like the customer is the priority, so will your employees. On the other hand, if you talk about other departments in a derogatory way or minimize the concerns of a customer because they are high maintenance, then your employees will get the message that customers are not a priority and they will feel free to act accordingly. Then, as issues are discussed, always start with how the decision will or will not affect the customer, so your employees have the same mindset. And finally, minimize obstacles that get in the way of providing good customer service. Make it as easy as possible for your employees to be successful. I have divided customer service into 4 phases. The first phase is the initial contact with the customer. This might be a phone call from a family member or a vendor. It might be a walk-in tour at the nursing home. The second phase is referred to as relationship building. This is all the stuff that happens between the initial contact and the final contact. The third phase is resolving disputes. This can take place at any time during the relationship. And finally, the fourth phase, the final contact with the customer. I talked earlier about the importance of the initial contact. The single most important aspect of customer service is putting on a smile, even when it's a phone call. It's very difficult to sound grumpy on the phone when you are smiling, and it's almost impossible not to smile back when someone smiles at you. Smiling ultimately puts everyone at ease. Moving into the relationship developing phase, the first step is to communicate. It is almost impossible to over-communicate with a customer. When in doubt, shout it out. Well, don't really shout it, but if there's any question in your mind that your customer might not fully understand something or is out of the loop, be sure and take the time to let them know what's going on. The worst thing that will happen is they will tell you they already knew, but I guarantee they will thank you for reaching out. Use the customer's preferred name. People like to hear their name, and they like to know that you know them. That's human nature. Be friendly, but do not overshare. Saying, wow, what a snowstorm we had is fine. Saying, wow, what a snowstorm we had, too bad everyone called in and we are working short, is not helpful. Express an interest in the customer's wants and needs. Customers like to know that you are thinking about them. For example, I wanted to give you a call and tell you that your bill was prorated because of XYZ. Finally, maintain privacy at all times. In regard to resolving disputes or complaints are things that no one really likes to deal with. But since we are all human, we are bound to make mistakes. The important thing to remember is that customers understand that people make mistakes. By and large, customers are very understanding. It's how the complaint is dealt with that can become an issue or a negative story that is retold 12 times. One option is for people to use the approach we call the 5 A's. First, acknowledge the problem. Second, apologize, even if you think you're right. Third, accept responsibility. Fourth, adjust the situation. And fifth, assure the customer that you will follow through. Let me give you an example. Let's say a family member comes up to you and says, my mom was supposed to get her hair done today and it clearly did not happen. Her hair is a mess. First, acknowledge the problem. Oh, I see that and I know how much your mom enjoys getting her hair done. Second, apologize. I'm so sorry that did not happen according to the plan. Third, accept responsibility. I'm going to make sure this gets fixed. Fourth, adjust the situation. I'm going to have someone give her a little TLC right now, and then I'm going to leave a note for the hairdresser and make sure she is first on the list tomorrow morning. Fifth, assure the customer you will follow through. I will check tomorrow and make sure your mom makes it to the hairdresser. Would you like me to call you and let you know? By using the 5 A's, you can be sure that your customers feel like they are being heard and know that you are fixing the problem. Supervisors who share this formula with their staff will find that their employees are more comfortable dealing with concerns as they know just how to handle them. The last phase is the final contact. As discussed in the beginning of the presentation, the final contact can make you or break you. I cannot stress enough the importance of ending on a positive note. This can be particularly difficult when the relationship is ending because of an unfortunate situation, maybe a death or a transfer to another facility. By providing closure to the customer, we are making the best of a bad situation. Customers will leave with a good impression or a bad impression. We want it to be a good one. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for always providing unparalleled customer service to Loretto's customers.